Hello student, how are you? Hope you checked all the videos of 2023 question paper of Mathematics 1 and Mathematics 2. Let me know if you have any doubts or any suggestions, then we can check on that. Okay. And this particular series which we are going to start today, it's very interesting, very useful in real life. Reason it's all about GST, shares, mutual fund, SIP. These are the most happening points in today's life, and this is again related to finance. When it comes to finance, when it comes to money, it's very interesting. Okay, so we will study everything in this particular series. When I say series, we'll be creating videos related to this chapter, financial planning, chapter 4, SSC, and we'll solve all those questions and we'll take your questions if you have any doubts. So no, you don't have to go here and there to search any topic on this particular chapter. Okay, so let's start this financial planning chapter 4. Okay, so when we start this GST chapter, financial planning, okay, so one term comes in a mind. What is GST? This is the first point we study in this particular chapter. What? GST. But we should understand what is GST. Okay, when these particular things applied. So GST is started on 1st July 2017. So it's very recent. Before GST, there was multiple other taxes. How many taxes are there? See, excise duty, VAT, CST, multiple things, multiple taxes are there. It was very confusing for any shopkeeper, for individual. So thing is that GST was brought so that these many taxes can be clubbed into single GST. Okay, that's overall all the purpose of GST, so that we don't have to study multiple taxes, definitions, how it works and all the stuff. We have to just study GST. That's overall the purpose. Okay, so once you start studying GST, you should know how to read the invoice, how GST is applied. If someone don't know GST, maybe you are too young to understand, but yes, GST, the moment you go and buy anything, so it means you are paying something to government. That is GST. Some taxes you are paying. Okay, you go and eat in the restaurant, you purchase anything. So that's why this particular topic is very important and for our life as well. So let's see how tax invoice. When I say tax invoice, whenever you purchase anything, cold drink or soap or any biscuits, that shopkeeper have to produce tax invoice. And tax invoice contains multiple things, right, which we should understand as a individual citizen of India. We should understand what is this. So if you see, some points is written CGST. What is CGST? Central Goods and Service Tax. Okay, and there is one more called SGST. This is State Goods and Service Tax. What does it means? It means whatever CGST, it will be paid to central government. Okay, all over India we have a central government, right? That government will get CGST. And SGST, this will be paid to state government. If you are in Maharashtra, that Maharashtra government will get SGST. So that is why it is segregated. So GST is segregated into CGST and SGST. And CGST and SGST is always equal. Okay, so CGST and SGST is always equal, saying that so CGST plus SGST will become your total GST. So in exam they ask question, they provide SGST and they ask to calculate GST. CGST they will not provide, so you have to assume that. So not assume, you know CGST is equal to SGST, so just double it and you'll get GST. You understood the concept of CGST and SGST, right? Let's move to the next topic. So here you have HSN code. What is this? So the full form of HSN is Harmonized System of Nomenclature. When I say nomenclature, you might be remembering your chemistry, but it's not like that. So all goods and service formed in HSN code, saying that they will get some code so that we can identify types of goods. That is HSN code. And for service, we will get SAC code. When I say service, some service, this is good, right? Service as in you provide some service to anyone. So that kind of service, we get SAC code. Here for goods, we'll get HSN code. I hope you understood. Now let's move to another concept. So GSTIN. So there's a GSTIN. So GSTIN is nothing but GST number. It is a 15 digit. So out of the 15 digit, your this is your the PAN card number. Out of the 15 digit, 10 digit your PAN card number. So if you're over the age of 18 years, you'll get your PAN card number. PAN card number, your tax identification number it is. So that PAN card number linked to your GSTN. Along with that, you'll get your state code and some other digit will speak in the next slide. Here, GSTN number is nothing but your unique GST number. Now let's check the difference. The tax invoice is of goods. We have another tax invoice of services. Just I told you, right? Goods and services. That's the reason it's GST. So for goods, I said that here we get HSN code, whereas for service we get SAC code. That's the main difference. The rest of the things will remain same. See here, GST, SGST, your GSTI number, everything will remain same. Your code will differ in terms of service. If you are not sure about service, for example, you have any defect in your mobile, you go to shop and ask for repairing. That's a service. If your electricity is not working, was someone they come and repair, that become a service. That kind of service it is called. So service code. Okay. So now you need to understand the GST. I already told you 10-digit PAN number. So this is your 10-digit PAN number. The first two digits represent your state code. For example, Maharashtra we have 27. One represent the registration, whether one or two registration you have. Z is by default uniform, and phi it shows the validity of your GSTN, right? It can be letter also. It's not always true that it is number. It can be letter also. Now you understood this concept as well. Now let's move to the next thing. So when I say GST, there are different rates of the goods and services. There are some falls under zero rate. Essentials goods, services, those are not charged GST. Low rate again is essential, but not much essential than the zero rate. That's why 5%, then 12%, 18%, and we have 28% also for luxury item. So luxury item you have to pay highest GST. So you need to understand this chart. Just take a snip and read it, and it will be very useful not only in your exam but in your real life as well. Okay, let's move to some example related to GST. Then you will have more understanding on it. For example, this one. So Aarti Gas Agency supplied LPG cylinder to consumer for taxable value of 545. Again, you need to understand what is a taxable value. Taxable value is what? On which tax can be levied. Tax, for example, price can be 1000, but out of 1000, how much tax applicable amount? So it can be 800 also or 900, that depends. But taxable amount is 545 here in this case. GST charge 5%. So when we say GST charge 5%, it will be segregated between CGST and SGST. What is we have to calculate in this case? We have to calculate CGST, SGST, right? And what is the total amount paid by consumer? Find the amount of GST to be paid by Aarti Agency. Consumer how much have to pay, and Aarti Agency gas how much have to pay. Let's see how it is going to work. This is just an example. We will study everything in detail when we will solve question set of 4.1 practice. So here rate of GST is given 5%. It will be divided between CGST and SGST, that is divided by 2.5 each. Then CGST, how much amount we have to calculate of a CGST? Simply 2.5% of 545. So 545 into 2.5%, which is coming 13.63 rupees. As I stated, CGST is equal to SGST. So it will be same for both. And if you add together, we'll get total GST. So total GST will be 13.63 plus 13.63. You will get total GST. That is 27.26. But consumer, how much have to pay? Consumer have to pay 545 plus GST plus GST, SGST, so 572. Okay, so how this process work? So what shopkeeper is paying? They're paying what? Anything in this? No. Reason? So if the MRP is 500 rupees, CGST, SGST is added on this MRP, and the total amount, whatever the amount it will be, come that consumer have to pay. And this collected GST amount, shopkeeper will pay to the government. That's how this process works. We'll understand there are more logic to it. It's not just this much only logic. This is just the initial phase. You need to understand only this much. We'll understand all the logics in detail later. Okay, now in this particular question, how much GST? 27.26 total CGST plus SGST. And how much consumer have to pay? 572.26 to the shopkeeper. Let's take one more example. So after that we can wrap up and we'll meet you into the practice set session video. So here in this case, Shrikar bought a laptop with 10% discount on printed price. So there is some printed price on which there 10% discount. The printed price of the laptop is 50,000. Okay, 18% GST was charged on discounted price. Now think like, that's the reason taxable amount. Why taxable amount is important here? That's why it is mentioned value of the goods on which GST is levied is called taxable value. Total value of invoice value is the value with GST. So what does it mean? It's not on MRP. It's on total value on which tax can be claimed. Okay, for example, in this case, 50,000. Okay, 50,000 is the MRP printed price, and 18% GST was charged on discounted price. If they do not write also this one, you need to understand. So 50%, 18% GST was charged on the discounted price. Find the amount of CGST and SGST. What amount did we Shikhar pay? What amount did Shikhar pay? Now let's proceed. So discount 10% of 50,000. So 50,000 10% of 50,000 is 5,000. If we remove discount, we'll get 45,000, right? Now the 45,000 is the taxable amount. On this you have to pay GST. So for 18% is the GST. So how much is GST? Divide by 2, 9%. So 9% of 45,000 is coming 4050. So 4050 is CGST and 4050 is SGST. And total sum will be how much? So 4050 plus 4050, total sum will be 9,100. 9,100 is total GST. Okay, so amount paid, how much Shikhar have to pay now? 45,000 after discount plus 4050 plus 4050, which is coming around 53,100. This much amount Shikhar have to pay to the shopkeeper. Even though there's a discount, he is paying more because of GST. That is the overall concept of GST. Okay, and there are more to it. For example, shares, mutual fund, SIPs. Those are even more interesting topic, right? So stay tuned to learn and understand those topics, and the practice set and problems are related to all these topics. For that, you need to watch the later video, subscribe to this channel and share to your friends. Okay, and keep learning. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, keep learning.